Welcome back to the Buds and Box podcast. Before we get started, make sure you guys go check out the giveaway details in the description below. The Leafs win 4-1 in a milestone-studded victory. Not only was there a milestone for Joe Thornton, not only was there a milestone for Jason Spezza, but there was a milestone for the Leafs. They are the first team in the North Division to clinch the playoffs. Obviously, it would have happened earlier if Vancouver played their games, but they had to get the variant of COVID, so we'll forgive them. But Joe Thornton, he now has 1,100 career assists, and Jason Spezza moved up to tied with Maurice Richard for top 100 players in points wise. And also Campbell is now the leader for goalie wins on the Leafs. The first period, we start off with a bang. 2 minutes in, power play goal by Nylander. It was a penalty by Toffoli. Did I get that right?
No idea.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I think it was Craig. One of Cuthbert said it was Toffoli, but I'm pretty sure it was awarded to someone else. But
Okay.
Toffoli hauled down. Someone hauled down Tavares.
Yeah. Yeah, and then a great play by Riley to get it to Marner. Marner kind of fakes the shot, fakes everyone out, and then goes cross seam, and Nylander's right on the doorstep to put the puck in the back of the net. Power play, looking good. I mean, it was the first shot, first goal, and, we don't really ever see that from their power play, especially in the last 20 games, so it's great to see. And then 7 minutes later, Matthews, oh my God, what a goal from Foligno and Riley. Great hand-eye coordination, picked it out of the air, looking like Sidney Crosby, and then just sniped it. The cameraman didn't really do a good job of showing the goal that we were discussing that. But what do you guys think about the start that the Leafs had today?
Well, here's the thing about the power play that I've found, just watching it, is the break-in is horrible. If they lose the draw, the power play immediately dies. The rest of the 2 minutes, because they can't find a way to set up, we get in. But if they win the draw, they have a good time like moving it around the perimeter and moving the puck around and getting chances on net, but they just can't figure out a break-in and a breakout on the power play. So I mean, as long as Tavares wins the draw in the ozone, they're doing fine on the power play as far as you can do fine on any power play, right? I mean, it's not like they're that much worse than anybody else when they're in the zone, right? It's just what I've kind of picked up from it is that the break-in is horrible. They have to do something about it.
For sure. Jude, any thoughts on the goals?
Yeah, well, I mean that's a great point by Felly, and I just found ever since that the first Winnipeg game, I feel like they've been a lot more confident. As Felly said, once they're in there, we're looking like the old Leafs power play kind of thing, not like how we've been looking for the 26 odd games or whatever that was before. We're not taking that time to pass it around. We're putting shots to the net. We have two elite goal scorers and an unbelievable passer. Like, why not just throw pucks to the net? So. We're taking advantage of it now, and we saw it right there today. First shot, first goal. That's great for the Leafs. And Simpson, as always said, Montreal has scored the first goal in every single in their past 5 games, something like that. So that's up yours. No, I'm just kidding. That's we kind of reversed Montreal there, and then and that's just unbelievable play by Matthews. But I have no idea if he shot that glove side or blocker side, because that was poor camera angling.
It was actually on the replay. You could see it from a different angle, but
Oh yeah,
it was glove side. He catches left, right?
yeah. So
Yeah,
it was post.
it was low glove far post. It was just over the pad.
That's what
But
I thought.
I mean, I don't blame the camera guy. It was a quick play. Like
Unbelievable.
if you see like Foligno with another point, three assists in 3 games with the Leafs, can't ask for much more. But I mean, he throws it. It looked like it was going to go across the rink.
Yeah.
But Matthews bats it out of the air. Everything happened in like a split second, so really hard to pick up. But Matthews made something out of nothing, really, and that's what the best players in the world can do. So
For sure.
Yeah, and by the end of the first period, the Leafs were outshot and kind of like outperformed by the Habs offensively, but they played a really good defensive game. Campbell was sharp all game. He finally found his rhythm, and Leafs should just roll with him. Second period, 6 minutes in, Muzzin, great offensive pressure by the Leafs. Puck flies out to Muzzin, just takes a shot on net, and I believe, not sure who tipped it. Oh, it was Joel Merrill. He tipped it in his own net. It looked like Thornton, but it was actually Merrill.
Is
And
it John
assist
Merrill?
I think it's John. Yeah.
John. Sorry, I messed that up. Yeah, he's a dirty mullet. But Thornton and Spezza with the assist.
And mustache.
Yeah.
um, and yeah, so I wrote a few things down here. Oh yeah, so Thornton and Spezza. There was an interview that I heard with Mark Masters and Sheldon Keefe that, you know, Thornton and Spezza, they seem to be kind of flipping the switch as we get closer to the playoffs. The last 4 games, Joe Thornton has been incredible, and we've been very, very critical about him on this podcast, going as far as saying, you know, every time he touches the puck, the play dies, and he just found another gear, and hopefully he can ride that into the playoffs. That would be really beneficial to us, and we'll definitely get our worth out of him. But Joe Thornton's 1,100th career assist, and I think there's only like 6 or 8 players to do that, so that's a crazy accomplishment. And yeah, I mean, Spezza got his accomplishment on the next goal. So what do you guys think about that goal?
Well, just to touch on the topic of Joe Thornton, you know, Joe Thornton's a Hall of Famer, no question, obviously. You got to understand that he's 41 years old and he's almost 42. So that's what a lot of people I think are forgetting, that this guy, like, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer and he's got that big name, but like, he's so old, and like saying that when he touches the puck, the play dies is not necessarily fully true. It's partially true because it does sometimes, but they were saying in between periods, and I agreed with it, was that he's still really smart. Like your body can go and your skills can kind of, they can go along with age, but your brain is not going to, his hockey IQ is still the same as it's always been, right? Like, he's still an extremely smart hockey player. I mean, if he wants to, he could definitely be a coach one day. I'm sure a very successful coach if he chooses to be, but he's still an extremely smart hockey player. So he can still make plays. It's just harder for him. He knows the play that has to be made. It's just his body is slower and decreasing in whatever, I don't know the word to use, but he's degrading. I don't know what to say, but you know what I mean, right? So he knows what play to make, but he can't always make it because of his age at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And on that note, I mean, personally, I never really saw Spezza slow down. We just saw those like healthy scratch. Like I think it was just one game anyway, but I never really saw him like come to where like a stump like Thornton has been through. But now he's back up, and like Felly just said, like he's still a great hockey player. We can't take anything away from him there. It's just a matter of age at this point. And Spezza's he's just been rolling, and I don't know. And he also, what is he, 39, 38?
I think he's a bit younger, maybe 37, something like that. But you're right. Like, but Spezza is in a little bit of a different situation. I didn't really like how they put them in the same conversation, really, because Spezza still, to me, at least when I'm watching, he looks fast. He keeps up with the play, and his shot is unbelievably hard and accurate still. So to me, those two aspects of his game, skating and shooting, which are two extremely big aspects of anyone's game, I think he's still producing in those terms of his game. So
for sure,
Spezza, yeah, I mean, I think he's still got a couple of years left in him.
For sure. And just to finish off the second period after that milestone goal or milestone assist for Thornton, I found that Sandin was actually playing really well again. He had some very physical plays, which is good to see, especially if he's competing for a spot in the playoffs. Campbell made a great breakaway save on Joel Armia.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, though, for the Leafs, 15 minutes in, Suzuki scores. It was just a good breakout by the Habs. And Justin Hall really backed up. He didn't really step up into the play. and he needs to do that next time. So did you guys have any thoughts on that one, or should I go to the third period?
You can move to the third, but just to touch on Sandy, and I think he played really well. Also, he skates beautifully. His skating is really nice to watch, and I think I said this last time, but to me, he looks like a Morgan Riley in the making kind of player. You know, like maybe not as good, or if he'll ever be as good as Morgan Riley, but same type of player. And he's getting shots on net. He's getting into the play. He got a couple really good chances this game actually, where he got gloved, but yeah, he's looked really good to me, and
Yeah.
and for his size, he's extremely physical. So
For sure. I agree with you in that aspect. And then you also look at who he's playing with. And that's right now Dermott. And he is just overshadowing him like no one's business. His everything, his edges to just his playmaking abilities, to his skills, his on ice decision making. He's just already a better player than Dermott. As much as I love Dermott and BCSS alumni, I just think I think Sandin is gonna be dethroning him pretty soon.
yeah, well, I think that's the difference between a guy like Sandy and a guy like Dermott. I think Sandin's got a way higher ceiling than Dermott does. Like I said, I think Sandin could turn into potentially Morgan Riley. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, he's a first round pick. He's got the skills. He needs the opportunity and the you know the D partner basically, right, to do it. And it's kind of a bad thing to say, but yeah, you do need a good D partner if if you want to progress in the league. So
Yeah, and just on that topic and switching gears into the third period, Adam Brooks gets another goal. 8 minutes in from Spezza and Hall. I mean, it's not the one you would like to get, but he'll take it all day, any day. I think he has 3 goals in 5 games this year, which is actually really crazy. Um,
yeah,
Allen misplays the puck. Spezza gets it. I think Hall got an assist too, right to Brooks, and he's not missing from there. He's like I said last podcast. I don't know if it was last podcast or the one before that, but he's brought light to that Thornton and Spezza line, and you can clearly see it. I mean, him and Sandin are just they're making like a push for that playoff spot, and their audition is definitely going well. It seems to be going good, and we're going. Hopefully, we can just carry this momentum into the playoffs. Did you guys have any
yeah.
thoughts on that goal?
Well, Brooks he just forechecks really really hard. I love to see him forecheck like that and just make plays. Like I like that play that led to the penalty against them on
Yeah.
Thornton. He got right down into the corner, got the puck, passed it out to Spezza, and Spezza got a shot on net. So it's like you need a guy like that when you're playing with two older guys, right? Because like I said, they're not moving the way they used to, even though Spezza looks great. They're not moving the way they used to. So a guy who can basically, get the puck first. Because when you think about think about those practice drills where like you're standing on the blue line and the coach dumps in a puck and it's like two guys on each side have to go race for the puck and they play 2-on-2 in the zone, right? Something like that. You'd never see a guy like Thornton go in there anymore, obviously, or even Spezza for that matter. But you need a guy like Brooks who'd be the first guy to go and get it, right? Galchenyuk's like that. Hyman is the best at doing that on the Leafs, in my opinion. The only thing I'm worried about now is Brooks is playing really well. Hyman's going to come back eventually, a week or two, right? Hopefully. I hope he'll be back in like a week or two, a couple weeks maybe. But I don't want to see Brooks out of the lineup right now as far
yeah,
as that goes, because I think he's working really hard for his spot. But he's got to come into the playoffs. He's got to be traveling with the team, in my opinion,
for
full
sure.
time right now.
Sure.
Well, yeah. Well, at this point, like we've talked about, there's something with that Thornton deal that there was a verbal agreement that we didn't know about because I could so see Hyman come back and like Brooks over Thornton kind of thing. You know what I mean? So that's something we're probably not going to see because there's something behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, I think the only reason that it's hard to do that is like they probably think if you're the Leafs front office, it's easier to think that a guy like Joe Thornton overall in the dressing room, just leadership wise, is going to help the team more than a, a young guy like Brooks at the
Yeah.
end of the day,
Yeah.
right? The end of the day. So that's the only thing. But because I don't see them sitting out either guy. I really don't. But I don't know who else they would sit. So there is no one else to sit. Foligno's getting there, and now Riley Nash could potentially come into the lineup.
Mhm.
Maybe I don't really see that happening either with all this depth, unless there's an injury somewhere, which hopefully there isn't. Knock on wood.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't see Brooks making an impact in the playoffs, but right now he's playing really well. So maybe going into camp next year, or maybe, for his sake, get him on another team, or trade him, because I want to see him succeed, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a good problem to have though, with all this depth, figuring out who's
exactly.
gonna play. Comes to some tough decisions, but
Yeah.
Spezza's assist to Brooks' goal enters him tied for top 100 in points, and that's the assist that put him there in that spot with Rocket Richard. The last 2 points I had, I just wanted to ask your opinion on one question, and I'll say the other one now. Campbell gets the win, which moves him to 14 wins, passing Anderson. He now leads the Leafs goalies and wins. I wanted to get your opinion on Caulfield in this game.
Okay, I'll go ahead of Felly because Felly's not a big Habs fan, so I'll let.
Well, no, I like him. I like him.
Oh
I like
yeah.
him. You can
Okay.
go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to say a few things. Like, uh, as we all saw, a little bit of a funny, shaky start for the kid.
Oh yeah,
With the ref incident, but I mean that happens to the best of them for sure. Not what he wanted. I mean, he's on that power play that we were watching, right? I think that's their second power play, because Suzuki wasn't on the ice with him, if I'm correct. Um, and I mean, he had the chances. He's just kind of like he's showing his rookie kind of new to the league. I guess not habits, but like kind of mishaps, because he's got that unbelievable shot, and honestly, as much as I love Campbell, that probably would have gone in, but he bobbled that puck, and then Hall got to it first there. So just a few things like that. I mean, I think he looks great, personally, but um there's just those times where it comes down to that. Like someone like Spezza would probably score there, right? And that's what it comes down to. But he's still young, and he's still got tons and tons of time. So in
Yeah.
comparison to someone like Spezza.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think he looked great, but in terms of it's his second game in the NHL, he looked great,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, and listen, I hate the Habs more than anyone hates the Habs, obviously, but you got to give credit where credit is due, right? So, I have always liked Cole Caulfield. I don't know how he dropped in that draft all the way to 15. If that was the Leafs picking at 15, I would be ecstatic to get Caulfield there, because listen, like any level that this guy's ever played at, he's gotten hundreds of goals.
yeah, he beat Matthews'
Hundreds.
record on the USDP team of goals.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a different story. Don't compare to Matthews yet, but what?
I'm just saying that's like
Yeah, I know. You're right. Yeah, you're right, but I wouldn't fully compare him to
no,
Auston Matthews, but
definitely not.
but I was surprised that he dropped that far in that draft. But he has scored goals at every level he's ever played at. So the only difference is in the NHL, I think he's just too small. Just watching today, the fact that he's scoring all these goals at every level, it's like, yeah, like that's amazing. And every level gets better. Even in the AHL, he's scoring like crazy. But in the NHL, it's a different beast. Like if you're 5'7", right, there's only a couple of guys in the league that are small, like Patrick Kane, who's made a big impact on the league. Obviously he's small, and then it's harder for me to even think about any other small guys
Well, you got Marner, Goudreau.
that are.
Well, I mean,
The thing
okay,
is, they're bigger than him though.
yeah. Well, okay. So
Marner's like 5'11".
Kane is 5'11". Marner's like 6 feet 5'11". The only person that comes to mind is DeBrincat. He's the only noticeable player who's 5'7" or 5'8" in this league, right?
Yeah, and so even there, DeBrincat, I think he's really good, obviously, but I think if he was a bit bigger in the NHL, he'd probably be better.
Yeah.
Which sucks. It's just a genetic thing. But Caulfield, I see him being an amazing goal scorer, obviously, but size could be an issue.
I
And
mean,
you saw it today. He
Yeah.
was getting stopped by not the greatest of defensive defensemen. You know, Morgan
Yeah.
Riley was pretty easily poking the puck off him, right? So
That'll come with time, though.
yeah,
Exactly.
like I said, he's a rookie. He's doing amazing. The fact that he's even out there skating, right, with NHLers at the age of 19, right? Any of these guys, Stutzel, Lafreniere, even Drysdale, our good friend. No, I'm kidding. But you know, anyone who's playing in the NHL under the age of 20 is pretty impressive. So consistently, so
Definitely.
Yeah, I heard a stat today. It actually took Joe Thornton 32 games in his rookie season to get an assist. So
there you go. And look, he's a Hall of Famer. So that just shows you how hard it is for a rookie to do anything. Like Jack Hughes last year, he had one of the worst rookie seasons ever
Yeah.
for a first overall pick.
Yeah.
And then this year he's doing pretty well. So
Yeah.
it takes time. Got to get used to it. You're never gonna show up to a different league and just be
Yeah.
amazing, right?
Okay, so on that topic on Montreal rookies, I wanted to talk to you guys about my personal opinion. I now have a new hatred for a new player, someone that I just don't like. I don't like watching him. I don't like anything that he does. Nothing about his game, and that's Romanov. I just don't like him as a player. I don't
Wait,
like.
can I?
Go ahead, Tyler.
Wait, what's his name? The big guy on the Jets?
Logan Stanley.
Logan Stanley. Nolan Hockey Podcast. If you made it this far, I have a new hatred for Logan Stanley. No, I'm kidding. But what were you gonna say about Romanov? Sorry.
Okay, I don't know. Romanov is one of those players that you look at the back of the play, you watch behind the net. Like there's say Tavares and Romanov are behind the net, and the play's moving into the Leafs zone. Romanov will give a dirty hack, give like a dirty slash. I've just watched this game in particular, proved my point from him. Like he personally sent me a letter and said, "Here, I'll prove you right, Jude." I said, "Thanks, Romanov." But to be honest, I've watched him from all these games leading up to this one, and I said, "Okay, like maybe I'm just being too harsh on the kid." But he plays like one of those guys that in the World Juniors you get a hatred for him, and he goes into the NHL and you just hate him even more. And just the way he's chippy, and it's like a Marchand chippy. It's not like a Matthews chippy or Marner in the corners or a Hyman chippy. Like he wins battles. He just goes in and I don't know, and I just don't think he's like, oh my God, look at this rookie like Romanov. It's just he's kind of there, and he's just there to cause problems, and he's doing well because he's under my skin. So, but
I
that's
mean,
just
it
my
doesn't help that he's got a C with an H on the front of his jersey. You know what I mean? So that does not help that he's on the Habs. Definitely, in my eyes, I personally can't stand anyone who wears a Habs jersey. No offense to them, but you know what I mean. Just it's just classic rivalry. It's you know, there's no hatred or anything, but it's just classic rivalry. I'm never gonna be a fan of anyone on the Habs. You know, they could be the best Canadian player, best Canadian goalie at Carey Price. I don't like him. I don't like him. Like it's nothing against him. I'm sure he's a great guy. I just dislike him because he's on the Habs.
Yeah.
No offense, but right.
Well,
so, and you're right. This Romanov guy, I've definitely noticed, and the announcers, you know, not to beat a dead horse, but they do praise him a lot for like, oh, this guy Romanov, he's really good. You know, he's making some great plays. It's like, yeah, he's all right, but like he is kind of annoying to watch. So
Well, I mean, to put it into perspective, what I'm saying is you need to watch him. You don't just need to be like the puck will be moving up ice and he'll do some dirty, greasy shit in the back of the plate. You know what I mean? He's one of those kind of guys. And then he'll make like one breakout pass in 20 minutes, and Craig Simpson will be on his knees like this. I'll be like, all right. But I also wanted to say one more thing, and Felly's talking about rivalry, and this is another 67 stat. This is the first time the Leafs have beat the Habs in 5 games since 1967. I heard Cuthbert say that, and honestly, the hockey gods they're just beaming down on that Leafs logo right now.
Well,
so
let's end it off there. Let's stop talking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if just my opinion on Romanov, I just have one thing to say before we end it here. He needs a fucking haircut. He looks. I hate him with long hair. I think he would look good with a nice buzz cut.
Like I said, anyone on the Habs is ugly to me. Anyone on the Habs.
Yeah, and if no one has any further thing to say, we'll wrap it up here. All right. So thank you guys for watching the Buds in the Box podcast on YouTube. If you were, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment your opinion on this game. We'd really appreciate it. If you're listening on Spotify, thank you guys so much for listening on Spotify. We really appreciate it as well. Give us a follow on Spotify. It would mean a lot. This has been the Buds in the Box podcast, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.